I broke my arm last week. I fell off my bike. Yes, I'm an adult. And yes, it's embarrassing. It actually didn't hurt in the moment. I knew it needed to be immobile, so I quickly stopped moving my arm. The adrenaline and surprise of it must have taken over. I could tell, in a detached way, I was in shock. I felt very calm, like, whoa, there's my bone sticking out. Cool. I knew I needed to get to the ER. I thought about getting an ambulance, but I've heard horror stories about the bills you're stuck with afterwards. I didn't think I could bike safely, and none of my friends in town have cars. I was not within walking distance of the Closet Hospital either, so I wrapped my arm firmly in a scarf to slow the bleeding, then in a sling fashioned from my jacket. I knew it would be okay if it was held still and supported, and the pain wouldn't come on for a while. I also locked my bike to a post because I didn't want it stolen. It was all a little awkward one-handed, but it was fine. I then called an Uber to the ER, thinking that it wouldn't be bad. I would be able to get there quick, and for $20 rather than hundreds at least. I got in the Uber and the driver, and I didn't talk at first other than to say hi. I don't think he noticed my sling. He was messing with his phone, and I sat in the back. He asked if I wanted to be dropped off at the main entrance, and I said I'd like to be dropped at the entrance to the ER. He asked why, and I said I'd broken my arm a couple minutes ago. Around then, the pain had started to come back, badly. I could tell the adrenaline that had kept me from feeling much was wearing off. I started sweating badly and gritting my teeth when we hit bumps. The driver asked, "Shouldn't you have gotten an ambulance?" And I said I didn't want to pay hundreds to $1,000 for a short ride. To my surprise, he started cussing me out, saying I shouldn't be in his car. He's not an ambulance. What stupid shit was I thinking? He was looking back at me, and I knew I was in rough shape. My jacket sling was bloody. I was sweating bullets. I was grimacing whenever the car moved. I was begging him, just take me a couple more miles to the ER, and he was raising his voice and saying I was a dumb, reckless woman. I needed to call 911, not Uber, etc. He did get me there, though, seeming really tense all the way. Honestly, he was the last thing on my mind in the moment. I was hurting like anything, and was just staring at the distance on the GPS. I got to the hospital and got fixed up just fine. I felt some resentment for the Uber driver for not being able to keep his cool, raising his voice at me, etc. But when I told my dad about everything, he said the driver was kind of right. It was a lot to ask someone who's not an emergency services worker to take responsibility for me, and that he would have paid for an ambulance if it came to that. AITA for calling an Uber to go to the ER. Edit to add, I've had a good bit of emergency medical training, including wilderness first aid because I enjoy camping, hiking, and climbing in often remote areas. I felt pretty confident that I had a good gag of what state I was in, and what I needed. I was monitoring my blood loss, pulse, physical reactions to adrenaline coming and fading. I didn't feel that I was in any risk of passing out or dying in the car.